Hey everyone, it's Zach from West Coast Pop here with the first ever episode of PopTalk, our new YouTube show dedicated to covering the latest happenings in pop culture. This will eventually be a weekly show, but due to the COVID situation basically putting everything on hold, not a whole lot has been happening. So, since it's the start of July, the first episode of PopTalk will be looking back at the 8 biggest pop culture stories from June 2020. In at number 8, we're asked to shell out more money while being unemployed because Quibi and HBO Max joined the streaming wars. And I know, both came out before June, but leave me alone, it's a slow month. Quibi, short for Quick Bites, debuted April 6th, offering short-form scripted and unscripted content to your cell phone, including a revival of the classic Reno 911. HBO Max launched next on May 27th, combining HBO, Cinemax, and the bulk of the Warner Brothers library into one service, with popular properties like DC, Sesame Street, and South Park, paired with popular shows and movies like The Fresh Prince and The Wizard of Oz. HBO Max kind of seemed like it was going to be a surefire hit. In reality, so far, neither really is. If lucky, Quibi will land 2 million subscribers by the end of the year, which is less than 30% of their targeted 7.4. Only being able to watch Quibi on your phone is only one of its faults. Another going up against it is better short-form content on things like YouTube, TikTok, and Pornhub. HBO Max had its own issues with launch. It's not available on Roku or Amazon Fire, and the lack of new content is kind of hurting it too. But hey, it has Friends, the most overhyped show in history, and Harry Potter, which is on cable every weekend. That brings us to 7. Apparently, Mr. Ollivander isn't the only one in the wizarding world that cares about who has wands. On June 6, J.K. Rowling tweeted an article clearly showing her archaic views on trans people. Robert Galbraith doubled down on her tweet, clearly alienating a group of people that use the world of Harry Potter as a form of escape from such discrimination. The LGBTQ community were quick to hit her with Patronus, and so were Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, Eddie Redmayne, and Stephen friggin' King. The woman that built the wizarding world may well be responsible for bringing it down as people begin to boycott her work, which we all kind of should have done when the cursed cash grab came out. Number 6. Everything keeps getting pushed back. From theme parks to filming to actually releasing films, June was a month that was poised to give the public some relief from the quarantine. But with COVID spikes across the country, this summer is going to be like the movie Midsummer. You know, we cry a lot, get fucked up during the day, and absolutely nothing happens. We're all waiting to see when Tenet comes out for a return to theaters, but for now, Tenet is the new Mutants. Alright, I gotta jump back on the cursed child. It's a cliff note of the entire saga. Kid knows something, adults don't want to hear it. Professor, I know something that could save our world. No, Harry, even though you are our world's Jesus, I refuse to listen to you because that would prevent us from dragging this out book after book. Oh, sorry, let's just... back to the countdown. Number 5, The Undertaker Retires. Well, this isn't a podcast, it's wrestling. Well, if you know me or you listen to West Coast Popcast, you know why, baby. So after 30 years, Undertaker announced his retirement during the end of The Last Ride, a docuseries on the WWE Network. From his debut in 1990 Survivor Series to tossing Mick Foley off Hell in a Cell to this year's WrestleMania Boneyard match, the dead man became a huge part of wrestling and the pop culture zeitgeist. And for that, we say thank you, Taker. This man also had his own comics. Which brings us to number 4. DC cuts ties with Diamond Comics distributors. Back in April, Diamond paused its distribution operations amid the COVID crisis. DC announced that comic book retailers can now get their DC books from Penguin, Random House, Lunar, or UCS comic distributors. DC states that the break from Diamond was a long-term thought process that began before the pandemic. Comic stores around the country are figuring out the new distribution for DC, all while trying to stay afloat during the pandemic by doing things like online auctions and curbside pickup for new titles. Diamond was the comic distributor since the 90s, and now one of the 2 biggest comic publishers in the world has made a major industry move. Number 3, the Schneider Cut is coming. Yes, I know, this too was made public last month, but again, slow month. We just talked about HBO Max, and sometime in 2021, the Schneider Cut of Justice League will premiere on there. We also just talked about Quibi, which honestly is the only way I can watch the original cut of Justice League in short 10-minute bits with breaks in between scenes. We got a short teaser and a look at Darkseid so far, so with a rumored $30 million budget for post-production work, the anticipation is growing. Between this and the redesign of Sonic, it looks like studios are starting to listen to fans online, so thanks all of you fanboys that made this happen. Hold your heads up high when you tell your grandkids how you changed the world. You've clearly earned an unemployed afternoon of Dragon Ball fan porn. Also, Batman vs. Superman was the Schneider Cut of that, and we all know how that one turned out. It took 3 people to write this. 3 people! Number 2. The PlayStation 5 Reveal. On June 11th, people like me sat and watched PlayStation present a slew of games and features for the upcoming console. Scheduled for a 2020 holiday release, the PS5 has a digital-only option as well as a disc-based one that will play 4K movies as well as PS4 games. While there's still no word on pricing, gamers are already prepared to shell out the cash, mainly because of one of its biggest reveals, Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales. Having fans of all backgrounds be so excited about this character getting his own game shows the excitement and importance of diversity in pop culture, which brings us to our final entry. Number 1, Black Lives Matter. The movement is making pop culture take notice. Animated shows like The Simpsons and Family Guy will no longer have people of color voiced by white actors. Past episodes of TV shows featuring blackface are being eliminated from networks, while on-air talent is being eliminated for past racist behavior. Disney is redesigning the Song of the South-themed Splash Mountain into a Princess and the Frog theme ride, which is in line with the Dixie Chicks going by the Chicks as their new name in support of Black Lives Matter. And even familiar food brands will be changing their logos, names, and characters due to their racist connotations. So, while the movement has just begun, its impact on pop culture in June is why it's number 1. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed the first episode of Pop Talk. Of course, please like, subscribe, and all that, but most importantly, leave a comment and let me know what you think. I'll probably regret saying that. But on behalf of West Coast Pop, I'm Zach. Take care and be excellent to each other.